ZANU-PF for much longer. Let's take a look at his political career.
Robert Mugabe was born on the 21st of February 1924. His birthplace was the rural Jesuit mission of Kutama at Zimba, about 90 kilometers west of Harare. Mugabe qualified as a teacher at the age of 17. He obtained the first of his many degrees from Fort Hare and UNISA in South Africa. After attending the late Kwame Nkrumah's Pan-African Congress in 1958, Mugabe taught for 2 years in Ghana. That's also where he met his first wife, the late Sally Hayfron. Back home, Mugabe rose to prominence as Secretary General of the Zimbabwe African National Union, or ZANU. The white minority government of the late Ian Smith arrested several liberation leaders in the early 1960s. Robert Mugabe was jailed for treason between 1964 and 1974. On his release, he joined Zimbabwe's freedom fighters in Mozambique. British mediated negotiations at Lancaster House in London in 1979 led to a peace agreement and new constitution which guaranteed minority rights. They culminated...
All right, the big story that we're getting now is that President Robert Mugabe is reportedly stepping down and is about to address the Zimbabwe Broadcasting Corporation, and will certainly give you more details on that. And as a reaction to that, we are joined on the line by Kennedy Mandaza. He is the ZANU-PF spokesperson in South Africa. A very good evening to you, Kennedy. Thank you so much for joining us. We're getting reports that President Robert Mugabe is indeed stepping down. What do you know about this? Can you confirm it?
I cannot confirm it at the moment because I haven't received such information. I think it is still privy to those that were engaged in the discussions throughout the day.
So what's your reaction then to the appointment of Emmerson Mnangagwa as the interim party leader?
It has been the intention of the discourse that was taking place in the party from the defense forces intervened to make sure that there is a capable replacement of Comrade R.G. Mugabe when he steps down. And coming up with the name of Comrade Emmerson Mnangagwa is a tried and tested cadre who has been in the party for a very long time. And his ascension to this particular position doesn't come as a surprise to anyone in ZANU-PF.
So are you confident that Emmerson Mnangagwa will pull Zimbabwe out of the ditch that it found itself in?
We are quite confident as ZANU-PF that Emmerson Mnangagwa, Comrade Emmerson Mnangagwa, together with the collective that you will be working with, they will be able to pull through, pull up out of the doldrums that we find ourselves at the moment. Said it is the collective that Comrade Emmerson Mnangagwa will assemble that will work together to make sure that the glory days, the days that people will be back on track.
Emmerson Mnangagwa has been by Mugabe's side for the past 37 years of incumbency, and he's been Mugabe's close ally and personal friend for time immemorial. So what is it that he will do differently in order to change the fortunes of Zimbabwe around?
Like I've already indicated, he will be working with a collective. Many people that are capable, that if they are put together, they will be able to turn around the fortunes of Zimbabwe. But the other thing that we also need to note is that...
Well, the argument is Robert Mugabe himself worked with a collective, but then the economy crumbled right before his nose. I'm asking you, what is it that he will do differently?
Let us also note the fact that Zimbabwe has been under sanctions for a very long time. And the collective that was working around Comrade Robert Mugabe went through this particular period, which proved to be very difficult, over and above the sanctions that were imposed, which were illegal sanctions, which mitigated against the programs that they were trying to put in place, that brought us to where we are at the moment. And we are hoping that with the change of guard in terms of governance, the illegal sanctions will be removed because ordinarily they were targeted, and now that Comrade Mugabe is no longer in power, these we expect to be removed, and what we have not been benefiting of the sanctions will begin to flow in the country. and also the confidence that is required by the country in order to come out of this situation will be gained as we move in a new dispensation where people are united and where people are beginning to are prepared to work together to take Zimbabwe out of this.
Now, I've been speaking to two analysts in this show a short while ago, and correct me if I'm wrong, Kennedy, that ZANU-PF is a toothless dog. Why did they not recall President Robert Mugabe before the army take over?
ZANU-PF is not a toothless dog at all. It has done what it has done at the moment following the dictates of the Constitution. Although the military had to come in order to solve the problem that was emerging as a result of the people that were now surrounding the president, including the First Lady Grace Mugabe, who had usurped the part of the powers of the president. And it is out of this recognition that ZANU-PF, if you read the statement, they've decided to expel Grace Mugabe from the party. It's so that she is seen nowhere near the party. And in addition to that, they've also decided to expel all those that were in the G40 that were working against what we thought we needed to achieve as a country. That's why the military went in or came in to intervene. And primarily, they said they wanted to remove the criminal elements that were surrounding the president. And that is exactly what has happened. And we have now asserted ourselves by making sure that we give a rest to Comrade Mugabe as we move on with the work that the party is supposed to do in it.
Kennedy, I think you're running away from the real issue here. The issue is Zimbabwe crumbled right in front of Robert Mugabe with the support of ZANU-PF. And why did they see this coming? Why did it not take action then? Why did they have to wait for the army to take action before ZANU-PF now takes action against Robert Mugabe?
I've already indicated that the crumbling of the economy is not necessarily the doing of only the people that were running sanctions that are still there, illegally imposed, which restricted the investment and flows of capital in the government. We had this cabal that had now started to work against what the party wanted to achieve. I think you have seen a number of programs that the party has come up with, the Command Agriculture, which have turned around the economy. And we are hoping that with the current dispensation, we will be able to move the country forward.
One of the resolutions that were taken during the Central Committee, the ZANU-PF Central Committee crisis meeting a little earlier on today, was that all the expulsions were nullified. Does that mean that some of the party members who were expelled will be recalled back to ZANU-PF? And that includes Joyce Mujuru as well?
What the statement said is that all those that were expelled after the 2014 Congress, they will be allowed to come back to the party. And if Joyce Mujuru qualifies in that category, she is still welcome. But if she was expelled before the 2014 Congress, then it means she may not find herself in the party.
All right, Kennedy, thank you so much for chatting to us this evening. We really appreciate it. That is Kennedy Mandaza, the ZANU-PF spokesperson in South Africa, speaking to us live in Johannesburg and reacting to the news that President Robert Mugabe might just be stepping down any minute from now.